talk about lingerie. And what specifically I'm talking about chemises, and we'll talk a little bit about, uh, we'll do a few little courses, but mostly it's going to be some chemises with nice lacy or satiny dress coats or robes, as you may want to call them. I happen to have one here very handy. And what I like about this robe is that I can take this robe from day to night. That means when I jump out of bed and I go in the shower, this robe works for me. It's not very see-through. It is a little, but not very. It's comfortable. It has a nice sway to it, and it's quite substantial. It's a quite, I call it, has a little bit more a bounce to it, to the hemming of it. It has a little more swing, and you can take this from, jumping out of bed, to getting in bed. You got it. So robes can be very nice, and under the robes can be, remember we talked about that little cute little bra and panty? I don't think that looks too bad, pulling these two pieces together, thinking outside the box. So that's the robe, and that's kind of pulling it together with some of the pieces we've already talked about. Next thing we can talk about is, I've got a few, I call them knit. All it is just a loosely woven, lacy, netty garment, and lots of them will come with garters. Again, I said you can make an appointment and I'll show you how to do the garters, not a problem. I have this in a few different sizes, but what I like about it is it also has a little underwire. As you get a little larger, you're not as perky. You want your girls to kind of not rest on your tummy all the time, right? You may want them to look like they do when you're, leaving the house and you want them to be nice and perky. And this is a nice item that you can try. And I like how, look at the back. Look for detailing in your lingerie, something that's going to make your lingerie really stand out. Look for long lines in your lingerie. What it does is it adds slimming qualities, and I'm not saying you trying to be who you're not. All I'm saying is it adds shaping and dimension. So, you got it, you got it. I know I have, and all I can do is just dress it. And that's how I do it. I just dress my body. Very cute item. Now, if you want to go with something that's a little sheer, I do like sheer, and I also like the netting. This girl kind of is a mixture. Very nice. It is thin, but it's kind of on that whole onesie look we looked at, but it does not look as, what's the word? I'll say stiff, It's a little bit more lacy, more romantic look, where this one may look, a little bit more dressy, more Cajun, but it's still pretty. But this really brings the romance in. Great low back. Again, look for details. Look for details in your clothing. Look for details in your garments. This has ribbons. I'm sorry that phone is so dark. Look for ribbons in the back. Look for different pieces that make it set out. If you want things to pull further from the body, look for legs to be a little bit wider. Look for the legging to have a little bit more space, and have the back be just a bit wider than the front. Okay? Another idea. Long. Sometimes that full length is what you're looking for. It doesn't have to always be for a bridal day. It can just be for Tuesday. You just want something that is a floor length, or something that's going to come down below the knee. Great, great option. I like this option because it allows you to actually tie this behind your neck. And you know what happens when you do that? You're going to be able to put the girls inside of the cups here, and the girls will actually sit up a little taller than if there had no fitting in this garment. Again, something to look for when you're shopping. Look for separation in the the bust area and the nightgown area, because that tells me that it has a place for my girls to go. And another thing is when you can get this halter string. This halter string is pretty marvelous because, again, we can tie it up and it's going to allow us to lift the girls up so the girls will be inside of the halter. It is quite a long length. I believe it comes down probably maybe a little above the ankle. I've had this in a fashion show in North Carolina, and it looked very, very well on the model. I'll share some of those photos if this is something you want to look for. Again, details. Look for details in your garments. Look at the details on this. You know, it has pleating. You know, it's like a little flat ruffle. Don't be afraid of getting details in your clothing. You may not be a sequence girl, but get something that's going to compliment you. Don't be afraid of lingerie. So that is why I wanted to come on tonight and tell you, you can wear lingerie. You can. Just look for the pieces that's going to work for you. Don't. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this garment and I'm going to add it to, comes in black, also comes in a red. So now that you got the black and the red, again, choices. Keep the choices coming. And you know what? Don't just get stuck with black. Branch out a little bit. I have something here that's I thought was just as cute as it can be. Now, I won't say it takes a brave soul, but what I will say is it takes someone who is confident in their body type. I like it. It's sheer. It is. It's all sheer. It's comfortable. It has a very long, it has a long sleeve to it. But yes, sheer. Why not think about something like this and let's put it together with, what about putting it together with something like this? I think she'd be pretty cute together. The ruffle is not going to overpower the sheer, and the sheer surely is not going to overpower the ruffle. So let's put these two things together. Again, we're just thinking